Well, welcome to Small Business Update. We have a discussion today about tips for residential landlords. So Adam is a real estate specialist with the State Bar of Arizona. And because he's a real estate specialist and I am, I'm a lawyer, I'm going to let him be in charge. I'm going to let him be in charge of this.
All right, there we go.
Got it. Okay. So fire away, Adam. 6 tips for residential landlords.
All right. So if you've got a home that you rent out, a lot of people, it can be the greatest time to be a landlord, and sometimes it's a nightmare. But we're going to give you 6 tips of things that might make your experience as a residential landlord easier. Tip number 1, rent during peak rental season. So what I mean by this is understand when the most tenants are looking, because the more applicants you have, the higher quality you're likely to get. Generally May through August for residential, just because people are out of school and they're making transitions. Some families don't want to move during the school year. So that's generally the best time to have your leases start and end. So what happens?
Just with the heat, you would expect people to be like, I'd rather move in December. But I guess that makes sense. They don't want to switch during the school year.
Yeah, and I mean, in January, December, you're in the holidays. People don't really want to be packing up and relocating, even though it's beautiful weather.
Fair enough.
So, but if your lease happens to end in January or something, the next tenant, you might just do, instead of a 12-month, you could do a 14-month or a 15-month or a 9-month or, whatever, just to try to get back in the, the prime time.
Yeah.
Tip number 2, set aside 10% of your income for repairs. A lot of landlords get caught off guard and they don't make the repairs because they don't have the money, or they want to skimp. And, you have duties as a landlord, and to make your tenant happy and to comply with the law, you need to make those repairs. So having 10% set aside is good. Tip number 3, thoroughly screen your tenants. Treat it like a business. If you've got a lot of homes, then you probably do treat it like a business. If you have maybe a home you used to live in and now you want to rent it out, you may treat it less like a business. But generally, stable income, you want people with stable income, at least 3 times the amount of the monthly rent. Run a credit check, a background check. Ideally, no recent evictions. That's not a good sign. And a good referral from a previous landlord is helpful.
Yeah. And of course, on your application, you're going to make sure that they consent to that credit check.
Right. Tip number 4, do move in and move out inspections. So most people that call me have issues with this, surrounding security deposits, keeping it, charging, trying to collect more than the security deposit for excessive damage. But it's important to document it, because if this ends up in court, you're going to need photos. You're going to need, have the tenant document when they move in, if there are any damage. And then when they move out, document that, allow the tenant to be there, and ideally take photos or videos of the damage so that it's, undeniable that the repairs needed to be made. Tip number 5 is get landlord insurance. Your biggest protection as a landlord is make sure things are covered by insurance. Some people, they rent out their house, they have homeowners insurance, they decide to rent it out long-term to somebody else, but they forget that they need a different type of insurance. And so things might not be covered. And that's the last thing you want as a landlord, is to have an expense that is not covered by insurance. So make sure you've got the right type of insurance as a landlord for your property.
Sometimes when you have a gap also in renters, they're going to cancel your insurance. Make sure to reactivate it when the new tenant moves in. So that's just some insurance companies don't like to insure empty houses that much. But if you pay attention, you get canceled, remember to click it back on, turn it back on when you have a tenant.
Yeah. Insurance. Pay attention to the insurance, I guess, is the point.
Yeah.
It's important. And the last one, have an enforceable lease. You know, there's a lot of landlords that call me when there's a problem. I look it over and they have some problematic provisions, or maybe it's vague or ambiguous or silent on certain key issues. You know, like who's going to live there, when the rent's due, late payment penalties, a pet policy. That's one we've litigated quite a bit of pets, damage due to pets, maintenance responsibilities, and the basis for eviction. So we just say, if you use a standard form, at least have an attorney review the form that you use, then you can just change the names and dates if you want. But certainly, you know, at least once having an attorney look at it will be beneficial, and it'll make our job later easier when we're in court, if we're in court, to prevail and make sure you get, you know, paid for what you're owed.
All right, so residential landlords, the answer is talk to Adam Buck with questions, get a good lease in place, follow the 6 steps, and then if there's a problem, you'll be in a lot better shape to try to fix it. Did I miss anything?
That's it. Just enjoy being a landlord and collecting money.
If it were only so easy, everybody would do it. So thanks for watching. Let us know any real estate questions. Adam Buck is the man. Look down below and you will see his email address, or just give us a call.